Over the last 15 years, the microbiome has received great attention. While gut microbes have been studied for several decades, well beyond conventional infectious diseases, research into the function of microorganisms that reside in the human gut has attracted a great deal of interest. Not only obesity, diabetes and liver diseases, but also cancer and even neurodegenerative diseases, multiple studies have been documented changes in the gut microbiota. In this video, we will discuss whether gut microbiota affect breast cancer and provide articles that support this statement, whether it brings about a good or bad effect.
What is gut microbiota? First, let me explain what microbiota is. Microbiota is referring to the entire population of microorganisms that colonize a particular location. Not only bacteria, but also other microbes such as fungi, archaea, viruses, and protozoans. Human gut microbiota is the micropopulation inhabiting in our digestive system and has co-evolved with the host to live together. Most microbes reside in the gut, have a profound influence on human physiology and nutrition, and are essential for human life. According to the latest estimation, we have around 4 times 10 to the power of 13 number of bacterial cells in our colon, which is approximately equal to the number of human cells. There are many physiological functions from the gut microbiota in our human gastrointestinal tract, such as digestion, metabolism, and homeostasis. These functions in microbiota are beneficial and play an important role in human health. For example, digestion and absorption of indigestible carbohydrates for humans like dietary fiber, metabolism of endogenous and exogenous compounds, and production of vitamin B and K. Also, the gut microbiota is actively involved in innate and cell-mediated immunity, helps with an appropriate immune response against pathogenic microbes, and helps to maintain the intestinal barrier. For extra information, if humans highly consume food that is ultra-processed and the use of new food technology can change the gut microbiota and lead to inflammation. Recently, there are some discoveries suggesting that the gut microbiota has some linkages to breast cancer.
But what is breast cancer? It's almost impossible to have not heard of the term breast cancer before. Breast cancer is an infamous malignant disease varying in many different types, occurring in both men and women. However, it is more frequent in women. As stated by National Breast Cancer Foundation, breast cancer in male is not as common as only 1% of all diagnosed breast cancer cases had been in men. Like in any other types of cancer, it involves the sudden uncontrolled cell growth, but specifically near the breast area for breast cancer. But what causes this sudden change? Up till now, many researches had been done on the topic, but the main cause is still ambiguous. However, there are many risk factors such as alcohol ingestion or gut microbiota that may be linked to breast cancer development. Breast cancer patients have to be careful as the sudden swelling, or also known as tumor of the breast, can impose many dangerous health issues and can eventually lead to death. According to WHO, approximately 627,000 women have died due to breast cancer, and they state that it is approximately 15% of all cancer deaths among women. Referring to the National Cancer Institute, there's a graph representing the death rates in breast cancer patients as well as the rates of breast cancer cases appearing. It dates back from 1992 until 2018. As we can see here, there's almost a constant rate of increase of breast cancer patients and a slow decline in the number of death rates. As such, the sudden decrease of death rates in breast cancer patients have brought about many attention to people as they start to uncover what could be the reason behind this change. Many research articles have supported that the decreased death rate could have been from the help of gut microbiota, which, as mentioned before, are the microorganisms residing in our GI tract. Following on, we will be looking at the recent articles that support this statement.
Now, let's talk about relationship between gut microbiota and breast cancer. There are several studies showing that there are significant differences in fecal microbiota, specifically in the absolute numbers of Bifidobacterium embaltea and the proportion of fecally bacterium Prosonitzi embaltea in relation to clinical stage of breast cancer. They observed that stage 1 breast tumors had a lower absolute number of Baltea than stage 3. We know that obesity, genetic polymorphisms, ethnicity, diet, and long-term antibiotic use are associated with a poor prognosis in breast cancer, and that all of these factors are also associated with disruption of gut microbiota balance. Obese women are known to have a higher risk of breast cancer than women of a healthy weight, especially after menopause. In the gut, Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes are two major bacteria families involved in the metabolism of indigestible nutrients, including dietary fibers and polyphenols. Researchers analyzed stool samples from 31 women with early-stage breast cancer, some of whom were overweight and/or obese. There were also significant differences in the total fecal bacteria counts and Firmicutes and Baltea depending on the height and body mass index. Overweight and obese breast cancer patients had lower bacterial counts. A potential link between breast cancer-associated inflammation and gut microbiota is secretory immunoglobulin, which is produced by plasma cells in the intestinal mucosa and plays an important role in maintaining the integrity of the mucosa barrier by recognizing and regulating gut microbiota composition. Immunoglobulin can regulate its colonization level by binding directly to the microbiota.
Apart from that, scientists recently discovered Astrobolome, which is a subgroup of bacteria in the human gut microbiota that acquire the genetic capability to metabolize estrogen. These microbes use fibers in our diet as their primary source of energy. Therefore, when a high-fiber diet is consumed, they will eliminate the estrogen from the body by increasing the rate of estrogen metabolism. This is because approximately 70% of breast cancers are ER positive, as they contain overly expressed estrogen receptors. Thus, an adequate intake of dietary fiber in the diet could decrease inflammation. Notably, a whole food, plant-based food with high fiber content contributes to the lower risk of breast cancer and an overall increase in breast cancer survival. However, any perturbation in the composition and the functionality of the gut microbiota, known as dysbiosis, may cause detrimental consequences for the host and promote the development of a vast array of maladies, such as breast cancer. For instance, the usage of antibiotics can directly influence the target pathogens as well as the other non-targeted microorganisms in the human body. This so-called gut microbiome dysbiosis could potentially result in the distortion of microbial homeostasis through the disruption of estrogen metabolism. It was shown that the declination in stool bacteria biodiversity leads to the excretion of estrogen and finally leads to an increment of the risk of breast cancer. Additionally, the alteration of the microbial community leads to the increasing number of lymphocytes and decreasing number of neutrophils, which can contribute to the survival rate of breast cancer patients.
From what we have established from the above, we can prove that gut microbiota affects breast cancer. In the first article, it says that there are many factors by which the risk of breast cancer can increase, like diet, ethnicity, obesity, and genetics. One of the most important factors is obesity. Studies have shown that two gut bacteria called Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes are found in high levels in obese women. However, when research was carried out on obese cancer patients, the levels of these two gut bacteria was decreased. In the second article, it mentions that gut bacteria called estrobolome helps in metabolizing estrogen. Food high in fiber must be consumed in order to reduce the risk of breast cancer, as these bacteria use energy from fiber. Therefore, in the body there should be a balance of gut microbes present, otherwise the risk of breast cancer can increase. However, the gut microbiome can undergo dysbiosis, which is the imbalance of microbes in the gut. This is due to the intake of antibiotics. Therefore, as stated above, we can conclude that gut microbiota decreases the risk of getting breast cancer as long as the gut microbes are balanced and in homeostasis inside the body.